And we're back. This is the Great Classic Movie Debate. I'm Kenny.
I'm Paul.
I'm Steve.
And we talk anything, everything about movies. It can be classic movies. It can be old, new. It doesn't matter. As long as we try to have fun and keep it interesting. If you happen to be watching right now, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out our sister channel, The Great Classic Rock Debate, where we keep things, we keep things rocking over there. We try to. I want to start with just a few thoughts on this movie, The Sound of Freedom, which we saw last week. And I cannot encourage you guys strongly enough to go see this, and for multiple reasons. Let me just say this, without doing an in-depth analysis of the movie. Let me just say this. We know it's based on a true story, and it's very disturbing to me that there have been voices in the media in recent weeks that are trying to downplay the movie as if it's a bunch of just fabricated right-wing
QAnon conspiracy crap.
Yeah, conspiracies. Is like, are you kidding me? First of all, slavery has been around since the beginning of time. That's never gone away, and I guess it's never going to. But it's amping up. It's worse now than it's ever been, and it's way more profitable now than it's ever been. And when you have policies like open borders, where there's no way to track people coming and going, then it's conditions that are just ripe for abductions, children and women, and especially children. So it's a serious topic and serious subject matter. So I recommend it. And this guy, who's the central figure of the movie, whose name is Tim Ballard, Jim Caviezel plays him in the movie. I mean, what a guy. I mean, he was serving in Homeland Security and was very close to his retirement, but he was so, like, he had seen things that once you've seen, you can't unsee, as far as the kids being abducted and abused. And it's horrifying, some of the things he saw. And so he left his job to devote his life. His life's mission is rescuing people who have been taken. So it's really powerful subject matter. And as you also know, they didn't have a lot of advertising budget, so it's been largely word of mouth, and it's over $100 million now.
Oh yeah, way over.
Yeah, way over. Yeah. So the fact that good, decent people have seen the movie and then told their friends and neighbors and family, go see this and support it. It's a worthy cause. I just want us to play a part in that, you know. So for anybody watching, again, can't recommend this strongly enough. You're going to enjoy the movie, but it's such a worthy cause. Go out there and support it. It's the kind of thing that needs our support.
Yeah, Jim Caviezel, I trust him. I mean, you've heard him interviewed for this and Passion of the Christ. You know, he's a true believer in things.
He is, yeah.
And so he's also a very good actor. So I'm sure this movie's good. I mean, he's and there's some other pretty big people
Mira Sorvino, I haven't seen him. Mira Sorvino, I see, is in it, and I'm a big fan of hers, so I definitely see it.
I'm a big fan of hers too.
I am kind of just amazed at the backlash that this movie has received from the media and Hollywood in general. And I wonder, I know politics obviously has something to play with it, but in a time right now where you have bomb after bomb of these big budget Hollywood movies, why Hollywood must hate themselves, their industry, so bad that a movie has a modest budget of probably $15 to $20 million from is my understanding,
right, that
they want that movie to fail so much, regardless of the subject matter. Like, they go out and spend $300 million and those movies will tank, you know, one after another, and then they'll go out and spend $15 million on a smaller independent movie, and it'll gross $100 million. So there's something wrong right now, just on the business side. Just forget about the kind of their what's going on in their mind with policy. Just the fact that they don't want to make money. It's like they're allergic to making income. So I don't know what's going on in the industry.
there's a lot of different moving factors, and we all know that the people on the left, all the Fox News, all these people, see, they all lose money. They don't have the viewers. If they had to survive, if you read John Nolte on Breitbart, they don't have the viewership and the ad revenues to survive on their own. Without the cable money they get, the light, whatever the term is, they would crash. Same with the movies. If they had to survive, remember, all these studios are part of the vertical. So Disney and Sony and Viacom, these are all billion-trillion-dollar companies. So if Viacom loses $450 million and they want to keep doing their left-wing stuff, they're going to do it. So
yeah, well, it's coming to a head pretty soon right now, because with the strike that's going on in Hollywood right now, the studio heads know that they can't continue to sustain these losses, and the movie industry is going to significantly change. And you would think that the type of movie they want to pursue is something that costs $15 million and they can generate $100 million.
Right. You would think.
Right. But that's not how they think. Here's what they want to do. If you read now with the studios, the guild signatories like Warner, and they want to right now destroy the SAG writers, the small writers.
Of course,
what they want to do. And they just put them out of business forever, because they want to have the ability to say, I'm at MGM, I greenlight like 9 movies a year, that's it. If your little movie about saving kids, I don't care about it because I didn't greenlight it. And if every other verticals, now you got 100 movies in a year that they greenlit, everything else that can die in rotten hell. Okay, it's a
the
power
problem
thing.
with them is they can't sustain these level of losses.
They can. They are.
No, they can't. You can't release 10 movies a year right now and lose $300 million.
Yeah, but hold on. Viacom, remember, you got to look at their bottom line of Viacom, not of the divisions.
I agree. And at some point, they're going to say, the shareholders are going to say, what the hell?
That's what I was saying earlier. Disney, that's going to happen at Disney, because Disney is not diversified enough. They have, if it wasn't for their theme parks, they would be in deep due-to, and that's going away.
And they are in trouble because I hear that their theme parks attendance is way down too.
Way down.
I don't know. I hear that secondhand. All I know is I look at their last half dozen movies that have lost probably
$1 billion,
$500 million.
Yeah.
That's not sustainable.
Yeah, but if you're a completely delusional ideologue, they'll guilt trip people. But like you said, Steve, that's the answer. Stockholder lawsuits.
Yeah, that's going to start happening.
I mean, because that's happening already with the ESG movement, right? They're suing these companies. I don't give a damn about. I want your job is to maximize my shareholder wealth.
Yep, that's good, and that's going to happen to Bud Light too.
Yeah. But so
I don't want to get off track, but the industry. I know that there's not a lot of bright people that work in the industry, but there should be enough bright people that recognize that they can't sustain this level of losses for the next couple of years, because there is not going to be a Hollywood as we know it. It's going to look completely different.
Right.
I mean, Louis B. Mayer said, I think he said it. No, I think it was Woody Allen said it's called show business. It's not called show. You got to make money, and that's why we're into doing this, right? So, all right, well, let's go back to Kenny. So, is it a good movie?
Yes. So anyway, but just for the record, that discussion that we just had is worth having, because it all factors in. Anybody who's hearing a lot of this negativity in the press, I want them to know, ignore that. Go and support the movie. Number one, because it's a cause worthy of supporting. But number two, it's a good movie. It is. Okay. I mean, in some ways, it harkens back to like either Rambo or Schwarzenegger type of movies, where a guy goes in by himself into a compound in the jungle. I don't want to give away too many details, but pulls off a long shot mission against all odds and does it like a boss. So
is this an action movie, or is it really more of a drama?
I wouldn't call it an action movie. There's some action in it, but it's more drama, and it's, again, the story there that is reality based. Okay, that's what makes it different from the action movies of the 80s, which were never intended to be anything other than fiction. It's reality based, and this stuff is going on. And in the early part of the movie, there is I'm gonna call it a sting operation that is set up in order to not just catch a bunch of bad guys, but to bring a lot of kids out. It's very successful. And that part in particular looked to me, I don't know anything about how accurate it was, but it looked to me like it probably happened in real life exactly the way it happened in the movie. So anyway, I enjoyed the movie. I don't want to tell too much about it, but it's definitely worth seeing. And more than anything, it deserves our support. So that's my thoughts on it.
Good. I will definitely see it.
I saw, not that I'm trying, let me know when I saw Oppenheimer twice. I saw it with my wife, and one of my buddies I told I would go see it, so I saw it. Have either one of you saw Oppenheimer?
I've not.
No, not yet.
All right, we'll wait to talk about it.
Well, yeah, because I intend to see that, Paul, but the 3-hour part makes it a little difficult. You got to schedule it at the right time and all
Yeah,
that.
it should probably have been, only thing I'll say right now, it should be 20 minutes shorter, but it's very, very good.
Okay, possibly next episode we'll target that one.
Yeah, I'm delayed a week. I had to go see Mission Impossible this week.
How was that?
It's good. I mean, it's a solid. You know what you're getting with a Mission Impossible movie. Some are better than others, but this is one of the better ones. And I still really appreciate the fact that they try to do real stunts and not rely on CGI. I mean, there's some CGI in it, of course, but I really do appreciate the real stunts. And that's, to me, the biggest problem I have with the James Bond movies now is that there's so much CGI, which was, you know, back in the 70s and 80s, it was great because they actually did the stunts. And even in the 90s in GoldenEye, a lot of people don't realize that stunt at the beginning of the movie where he jumps off a motorcycle and skydives into a plane. They actually did that. They did it in 2 sequences. They did a separate sequence where he jumped off a motorcycle, very similar to what they did in Mission Impossible. And then they did a skydive where they dropped a guy from a helicopter and he skydived into a plane. So,
wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty incredible in GoldenEye. So I remember watching it as a kid and laughing. And people in the theater were laughing because they're like, that's not possible. But they actually did it. So that's what's amazing about it. But
wow. Paul, I think we saw that together, didn't we? GoldenEye?
Huh?
I think we saw GoldenEye together.
Yeah. GoldenEye was shot mostly in St. Petersburg, Russia, which
but Mission Impossible, it's got the same kind of improbable things that happen, and I feel like Tom Cruise probably, if you watch the last couple of Mission Impossible movies, he's probably ran like 2 marathons. It seems to be always running, and
he's always running.
Every action sequence. But you know what you're getting, and it doesn't fail to deliver on that. And like a lot of the Mission Impossible movies, they're kind of confusing and it's unbelievable. And if you've seen the show, which I'm sure you guys have, it follows kind of the same kind of storylines.
It's on my hit list. I want to see both of them.
Go see it. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes, but it doesn't feel like it's that. I never once did I check my watch or anything like that. So
I saw the trailer for Dune Part 2. It looks really good. It looks really good. Like,
I thought the first one was good. I just was not aware when I sat down to watch it that I was seeing an installment. I assumed I was going to see the whole thing. So when it ended, I'm like, what?
Well, the first one, the guy, he didn't stay close up to the source material in the first movie, and he thinks that he's smarter than the guy who wrote the book, and so he ruined that part of the story. The whole point of the whole story is Muad'Dib is the Messiah coming back.
Right.
Not a woman. He's not a woman. He's a man.
Right.
Okay. So when the witch is torturing him at the box with the needle in his hand, so he thinks, in the first 2 Dunes and in the book, the witch says no woman child could ever take that much pain. In this movie that came out the first half a year and a half ago, he leaves that out because the director is a coward loser. Okay, as simple as that. So, but the trailer looks good. It looks more primal. Like, this is a primal book. Doom is about murdering, revenge, and destroying these people who killed your family. That's all it's about.
Yeah.
and the Messiah coming. Let's move on.
I sat through about the first 10 minutes of the remake, and that was it. It just annoyed me.
It was
Okay.
too artsy. If you hadn't seen the first one, it's too artsy. You should watch the one with David Lynch.
Okay. Did you read the book, Steve?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No.
Highly recommended. When the original movie was released in '84, I was kind of amped up to see it, and a guy I worked with said, "Let me make a strong suggestion. Read the book before you see the movie. Otherwise, that movie is not going to make sense." And he had the book, so I read it in a couple of afternoons. I couldn't put it down. It was really good. And when I went to the movie, I sat there going, "Wow! If I hadn't read that book, none of this would make any sense whatsoever." So I'm gonna offer the same 2 cents worth that he gave to me, and that was strongly suggest you read the book.
All right, Steve, what is the last fiction book that you've read?
Oh God, I don't read fiction.
I know. That's why I asked you.
You will have to. I'm embarrassed. I can't even remember.
I know.
I don't. I read a lot. As for the audience, I read a lot of nonfiction. Usually things that have to do with
banking.
Well, banking, but really just wildlife. So God, I can't remember. It's
Fred Bear. You read about Fred Bear.
I know who Fred Bear is. I've not read a book about him. I don't know. God,
All right, don't worry about it. So listen, I want to mention this really quick because it's kind of off track, but it's worth interest. There is a movie on Netflix that we saw called The Deepest Breath. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Oh,
okay.
There's divers who are
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It's about the free divers, and it's done documentary style. Okay. We were just kind of taking a chance. It got good reviews, and I go, let's roll the dice, and we watch it. Buddy, let me tell you, you will be on the edge of your seat more than not in watching that. It is well done. The drama is high, and watching them on their descent, there's not wearing tanks, for God's sake. And they keep going and going and going and going and going.
Are they after pearls?
No,
they're just funny.
No. At first I thought you were making a joke. No. They're doing it just for the competition, the competitive nature of it. Because, well, first of all, free diving, if it's not competition, I think they just do it. It's something you do for yourself, sort of like mountain climbing. You're communing with nature, and you're in your own little universe there when you're going down, whatever. But when they actually have the competitions where it's based upon how deep you go, I mean, it is scary when you look how far. I think they said it was like if you were to stack the Statue of Liberty twice on itself or something like that. It was deeper than that. It's crazy. Remember, let me emphasize this part. There's no air tanks.
Yeah, no.
They're holding their breath. It's crazy. So anyway, they do, based upon the editing and the storytelling, they do a wonderful job of keeping you guessing. I mean, you kind of can tell from early on that there's going to be some element of tragedy. They're dropping hints, and you're like, okay, I'm not sure who it's going to be, but somebody's not going to live at the end. And it didn't play out the way I was kind of anticipating it was going to, but man, I really recommend it. It's really, really good. The Deepest Breath. Like I said, it's kind of a documentary.
Okay.
I never knew free diving could possibly be so interesting, but it really is.
Yeah.
What I know about it is
Paul, I Am Legend, by the way. That was the last book I read. Fiction book.
God. Wow.
Paul, you loaned that to me like in 1986 or something like that.
Oh yeah, did I?
Yep, and I read it then.
It was probably been 10 years.
It's been a while for me too. When I'm thinking about it, I've read a lot of fiction or nonfiction, but fiction, it's been a while. I have a Chuck Palahniuk book that I started. I got to get back on it, but I don't have time. What were we going to say? Oh, the thing I remember about the free divers is the Japanese women do it to get the pearls.
Oh,
And
that's
they-
probably true. Yeah.
and they figure out they all end up going blind. They have health problems, but some of them have made a fortune.
Why don't they use tanks?
I'm
Do
not
they not
sure
have the-
because they didn't have tanks when they did it 200 years ago.
That's
Well,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least one of the leading female competitors in the movie was Japanese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
part of their. It's the same reason why Kenyan runners. I mean, they're at altitude anyway, but they have a
Right.
huge natural advantage and they take it. All right, so what are
Right.
movies we're going to talk about? How about this? I thought there must have been 500 people at the Barbie movie last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to the theaters. It was pretty packed, and I didn't see that movie.
You took the kids, Paul?
No. I wouldn't see that movie at gunpoint. I'm saying that when I went to see Oppenheimer, they're dressed. You see,
Oh.
they're seeing Barbie. I could just tell.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
looking
Okay.
at
think-
them.
All right.
I think everybody was going to see Barbie.
Yeah.
The theaters were packed. I went and saw 2 movies this weekend, and everybody was full. And I saw Mission Impossible, and then No Hard Feelings, that movie with Jennifer Lawrence, which is kind of a comedy.
Oh, never heard of it.
Did you lose a bet?
No, again, I get to see 3 movies. a
I
week
know.
for free.
I'm pushing your buttons.
And that movie is only an hour and 45 minutes. So that's the problem I have with Oppenheimer, with really Christopher Nolan in general, that he's a good director. Don't get me wrong. I said this earlier in the week to you. I think he's the most overrated director that's out there right now. And that doesn't mean anything bad. That just means that he's not as good. To me, I don't find him as good as what everybody thinks. Like, his best movies are the Batman movies. Tenet was boring. I couldn't finish. I probably went 45, 50 minutes into that. and turned it
Tenet
off.
gave me a headache. It did.
It is a super brilliant movie,
And
Wait.
Interstellar.
but you
Well,
two don't have the patience. It's the non-linear storyline it's daunting. I'm not going to sit there and say, but if you pay attention to Tenet, it's brilliant. But this
Okay.
is my opinion.
Listen, my
like
thoughts on
Interstellar.
my thoughts on Christopher Nolan is he's a genius. I'm not disputing that, but the way it translates into movies, it becomes almost too much work
Yes.
to watch it and take it in. Yeah. So I don't want
Yeah,
to
but
have
like
to work that
Dunkirk
hard.
was really good. Did you see
I
that?
like Dunkirk.
Yeah, it's good.
Dunkirk
Real
was
good. Yeah, it's good.
I have a huge problem with Interstellar.
Just the ending, though, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
'Cause I think it's written by. I mean, I gotta admit, there's probably. I'm sure one of the writers, or I'm sure there was somebody from NASA that worked on that, or at least
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a big gaping hole in that movie that is kind of obvious.
What? You can't go back in time?
No, maybe, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but you can remind me if I'm misremembering this. But the problem with that movie is, imagine if you drop a dime in the ocean, and you just stick your hand. I randomly drop a dime anywhere in the ocean, and you have no idea where it's at, and you stick your hand in the ocean and pull it out. Multiply that by about 1 trillion, and that's the problem with Interstellar. Is he magically comes to the same wormhole and the same point in time where his daughter, where he was sending that message back to his daughter.
Time. I don't want to get into the time travel thing. We could do this for 6
You could do
years.
that. The visible universe is 90 million miles across. That's just the visible universe.
You mean billion light years across?
That's probably right too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
billion light year. 90 million or 90
A
billion?
billion.
Well, either
billion.
way, point is,
Yeah.
it's pretty much infinite to us.
Correct.
And the fact that at the end of that movie, he comes through this wormhole and then finds the exact point in time, the exact same wormhole where he's able to relay these messages back to his daughter when she was a kid.
Who put the wormhole there?
I don't remember.
They did. We did. Humans. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's a
No.
what's the word for God machine? Do
God.
D-
Deus ex machina.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what that is. It's
In a way, yes, because the woman starts to realize. Anyway, I don't want to tear this
How did
movie.
he find that wormhole? If
Because
the
she
human-
put it there.
Who did?
His daughter.
How did he end up there? How did he find it?
Because she put it there, where they're Jupiter or Saturn, I can't remember. That's where they go. They go inside. and they go to this
Yeah,
other
it's
place.
still-
It's
It's
a
still, even if you sell, it's still, even if you tell me it's on, let's just say it's on Earth, it's still the equivalent of, I'm going to find a diamond that you dropped in the ocean.
not if
like-
you created the wormhole, dude.
He
That's
didn't
the whole.
create
No, his wife or daughter. I can't say his wife. His
it, but
daughter
she
did
did,
it.
I don't think they, how did he find it though? Because I don't think, they didn't give him instructions, directions.
Yes, they did. When they leave Earth, there's a wormhole near Jupiter or Saturn, and that's
Saturn,
where
I
they go.
think.
Yeah.
You
I'm
even go
Steve.
through the
Hold on.
wormhole.
What have you? This is coming from
Oh,
somebody.
I'm not time traveled.
Right. He doesn't. Physics. It gets. That's when you watch Oppenheimer. Steve's going to say the same things because you have to have a very powerful understanding, at least feeling of science and what's possible, and how science
that's not possible.
and God are related. And that's what these movies are showing. That's all.
Okay. All right.
If it
Okay.
works
So
for you,
listen,
that's
I'm
great.
gonna
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna change directions here, just for kicks. So earlier today, I don't even know exactly what were the circumstances that led to it, but we decided to download and rewatch from 1986 Highlander. So I haven't seen it in ages, and man, does that movie still stand the test of time. It was really good.
Why? Okay. Why do you think it stands the test of time? Why? Some visceral reaction, right?
Yeah, well, it's just a great story. You know, we talked about the fact that sometimes a really effective plot mechanism, you don't try to explain it. You just basically tell your audience you have to accept it.
Just like an Interstellar. But go ahead.
Okay, fair enough. Because I couldn't wait when they announced that they were releasing a sequel to Highlander, right? I couldn't wait to see it. And when they then tried to give us a background as to where they came from, I'm like, wow, you guys just ruined this.
They ruined it.
They ruined it, man.
And like, forget the first movie ever happened. Think about before all these. I'm like, where Sean Connery Ramirez has his head cut off.
Right.
And then if they're forgetting, then where's the Kurgan in the second movie? Where did he go? Did he
Right.
not show up? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Sometimes just let the audience start at wherever the movie starts. You don't have to give them a background. Wherever it starts, that's the ground zero, and you don't have to explain everything because we don't need to know. All we need to know is they're immortal. Okay, up until they get decapitated,
Slight
they're
technicality.
immortal. So you have to explain why. So to me, that's such a good and effective plot mechanism. These guys have always been here. We don't know why or where they came from, but they've always been here. And their paths have been converging for hundreds, if not thousands of years, whatever, to this thing known as the Gathering.
Yeah, the Gathering. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. In which one is ultimately going to win, you know? And the story just pulls you in. And I don't think it was a big budget movie at all. I mean, Christopher Lambert didn't cost him that much, and neither did Clancy Brown.
No, I mean, a guy from UCLA, my grad school writing program, wrote that movie.
Really?
I forgot the guy's name. Yeah. I think the reason the movie, Christopher Lambert's a good-looking guy. The woman was good-looking.
Yeah.
Great plot. But I think that movie is one reason why it's so viscerally great is because of Clancy Brown.
I agree.
He's the greatest bad guy performance ever. I think he's past Vader in my book.
He's right up there. He's evil. He's evil looking. He's evil. His demeanor, his voice,
scary.
he's big. Yeah, everything about him
Like
is
when
evil
he
and scary.
Has that sword on the horse and the lightning bolt comes down, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna run.
Yep.
I mean, I'm running away.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, like, what? Who is this guy? I've never heard of him, you know. And he's got that, you know.
Yeah, that
Gee.
raspy, deep voice.
Yeah.
We got our warning, but let's go ahead. Steve, what do you think about Highlander?
Well, you're gonna find this funny. The only Highlander movies I've seen are the third and fourth one.
Oh.
And so and it's because in high school, some friends. I think the third one came out in the mid '90s, and I had some friends
That's about
who
right.
they brought it over or something. I was at their house when we watched them, and I was totally lost. I had no idea what the hell was going on.
Could you?
Then
Yeah.
the fourth one came out, and I with my ex, and I went and saw that, and I had no idea what was going on. So
Right. I think there were
I've never
5 or
seen the
6
first or second one.
total, but the first one is the only one you want to see because it's so well done and it's got memorable dialogue. It's got memorable scenes. Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, I forgot. See,
It's not
Sean
a
Connery.
big role, but it's memorable. You know,
And
It's-
Queen does the music.
Queen does the music. Yeah.
I know Queen does. That's the soundtrack. So
You want to live forever. That's that song, man. But Clancy Brown, Steve, I never heard of him. Kitty never heard of him, and we're like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
and he's got to be 6'2", 6'3". He's a big dude.
In the movie, they make him look bigger. He looks.
No, but
like-
I've seen him. Like he's in he's in the Mandalorian.
Yeah. No, he's a big dude either way, but they make him
I'm just
out
saying,
bigger.
when he's in the room, yes, but when he's in that deck with us, like with Bill Burr looks like a child next to him. I mean, you can't hide people's height.
I don't remember him in the Mandalorian, but I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
he was the guy, that really big, super strong guy. When they go on the prison ship, the door shuts down on him, and he bends the door back up.
Right.
That's Clancy Brown.
I know who Clancy Brown is. I just don't remember much about the Mandalorian. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, anyway, let's. Well, Steve, I recommend in the strongest possible terms see the original 1986 Highlander. Don't see anything else, but see
Yeah.
that because you will love that movie. All
I
right.
agree. It's,
Okay, so let's move into our honorary Oscar nominations. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I'll give. All right, I'll take this. I'll do Sean Connery for Highlander
Okay.
because he plays this dual role where he's like a really good swordsman, and he's kind of goofy and silly. But
Correct.
at the same time, he's teaching because Christopher Lambert has no idea how to sword fight.
How to
at
sword
all.
fight. Right.
And he teaches him. It takes him years to teach him how to sword fight.
Right.
And then remember, they're immortal. So he tells him he's got this beautiful Scottish woman, Heather, and he says, "Leave her." He's like, "What? I love her." He goes, "Leave her.
Leave her.
You
Yeah.
cannot sit there and watch her get old and die. It'll kill you."
Mhm.
So,
Right.
and so it's really good advice. So yeah, he's had if you go back and think about his career, he's had a pretty versatile career. Although he's typecast as Bond, he won the Academy Award for another great movie, The Untouchables,
Right.
and
Well, Paul, it's noteworthy that in this movie, Highlander, I'm sure he was probably late 50s or maybe
Yeah.
60 by then.
yeah,
But look how physically robust he
I
still
know.
looks. He looks great.
yeah,
he does. Yeah. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
I got nothing.
Okay,
I've seen nothing but crap lately, so I have nothing to recommend.
fair enough. This just popped in my head simply because of our discussion of just the last few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and nominate Clancy Brown, not only for the Kurgan, okay, which is possibly his greatest and most memorable role. He was in a movie with Tom Berenger where he's the bad guy. Harry
Shoot to Kill.
Belafonte, Sydney Shoot to
Shoot
Kill.
to Kill. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
And-
it's a great movie.
It's a great movie, and he's a bad guy in that movie also. And he was also in Bad Boys with Sean Penn way back when. It's kind of a low budget prison, or I should say juvenile detention center kind of movie. And Sean Penn and it's a Spanish guy, Esai Morales or something.
Esai Morales. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, these two are enemies, and they're going to fight at some point in the thing. But Clancy Brown was in that too. So he's been in a number of those kind of movies where he plays the big heavy type of role. But he does it effectively. He does it good. So my honorary Oscar goes to Clancy Brown.
Steve, did you ever see Carnival? It was on HBO.
No.
He's in that. He plays a preacher.
Yeah.
Oh my! Steve, I'm kidding. I don't know if you see it. He plays this preacher, and
Eerie.
eventually
That is an eerie series.
Yeah. And
Carnival.
Clancy, I was like,
Are you
What
talking
do
about
you-
Clancy Brown or the other guy?
Clancy Brown.
Clancy
I
Brown.
know who Clancy Brown is. He's been in a million things.
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
Carnival, he
Yeah,
plays a
he-
preacher.
Oh, my wife got me to watch it at first. I was like, "This is stupid." I'm like, "Okay, this is really good." Like,
Pretty good.
right away, I said, "I better shut my mouth."
Carnival has that sort of spooky quality when you're watching it. There's always something bubbling beneath the surface that makes you uncomfortable. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
nailed it. That's a great way of putting it, Kenny.
Yeah.
I couldn't
yeah.
afford HBO when that show was on originally.
I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever been able to afford HBO.
Right. Right.
It's funny
Okay,
story.
guys,
Are we out of time?
we're out of time. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, all right, wrap it up.
Okay, this is the Great Classic Movie Debate. We thank you for watching. I'm Kenny.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Steve.
If you're watching, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our sister channel, the Great Classic Rock Debate. Until we meet again, we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.